Hi everyone, this is Nilson Lima, and we are here today with the second part of our work in progress for the Cloudscape Seasons 1.5. And I have selected a few features to show you guys, and I am here. I'm hiding some spoiler content because I want the surprise to be the best when we launch this release. So I will just show some key elements and something working and some parts not, just for don't spoil guys. And I have shown the clouds already in this terrain material, auto material that you'll be given for free with the package. And we have made some billboards for the blueprints, so it is easy to find them if you have the world outliner too heavy on stuff here. So you know, this is the calendar, the sun, the moon. This is a new element I'll show you guys. This is sky seasons, and we have the a new element here as well. So talking about the new elements, so there are some things we have that people were wondering, why does this so crude blueprint like the wind sensors blueprint? Because they are just holding the wind speed and the wind direction before, but now wind is something more complex. Now you have a wind update interval, because guess what? The wind now can change over time. We created the concept of wind gusting, so you can enable this. It means that your wind speed will change. You can select in percentage frequency that it changes will happen, and from a min speed and a max speed, the variation from the random value it will choose between both. So if we decide that randomly the gust will be like 0.10, going from the current speed to the 0.10, you take 15 seconds. You can change this value here, and it is the same, is still being used in Cloudscape Seasons. So you load your winds here as it was before, and you can have saved some presets for wind. So this presets helps for you to remember each was the values you have chosen before, and also the direction. I have something now, the wind blueprint also have an arrow showing it is the wind direction it is being blowing to. So if you change the values here, we are layer 1, so this is 1. If you change this value here, you'll see the arrow pointing to something placing else. Okay. So, and when you load a preset here in Cloudscape Seasons, it will update the blueprints with the correct values. Other things that we have, it is new, are ray seasons. Yes, now we got rain. We also have the concept of sets, so you can save parameters for your rain. It is the data tables. You have the set data and the rain type itself, and each performance model you want to use that type of rain. Maybe you are like in a budget to your frame rate, so you can choose that the rains by themselves will use like the maximum performance, while other components will not use in the maximum performance, so you can change this. You have a rain starting condition because we felt that since the cloudscape seasons and sky seasons can control the day and night cycle, given then an overhead to control the rain as well would be not a good idea. And also rain doesn't take into account the sun position to behave, so it was not making sense to give any logic behind this on cloudscape season. So we created a new blueprint called rain seasons, and there you can say like the starting condition will be none. None will mean clean, no rain at all, and you can choose as a final condition several types of rains. That we have drizzle, shower, rain, downpour, torrential, and flood. And guess what? We also have snow, because to have snow, it's basically the same thing. It's the same logic behind this. I will show the details, but you see that it makes sense to have them in the same blueprint. And someone can say, hey, but I know that are conditions then you can have rain and snow at the same time. So in this case you set two blueprints, one with just settings for rain and another one to settings for snow. You can try to match those parameters to make them happen according to your feeling, but basically it's kind of hard to have this, and I'll show because we have other stuff coming that I'll show. Rain altitude for now it's still not working. We will have lighting that I will not show because this is a feature that only when you have the final video with the presentation of the complete update, I'll show this. But you have several settings for the lighting. You have probability for the rain to occur based on the type, conditions to evolve from one condition to the other, so you have a probability. And once you have once the condition has changed, how much time you keep that change, so you can specify it as well. And from one condition to the other, how much time you use to interpolate them, and the amount of time you use to check your update interval. In this case, each second I'm checking again if there is a, because at each check we start a random number to see if it will hit those probabilities set before. You can set the raindrop size, the raindrop amount, variation for the amounts, so you can have some variation on the stuff you set in the table, so you not see exactly the same time. Each time scale we are talking about when we say about these times here, and minimum maximum wetness, that you see that the terrain becomes wet and you have water running on the terrain depending on the amount of rain you get. And here is the lighting probabilities, and below it just it is the wind that affects the rain. It means that the same wind that we use for the cloudscapes, so you have the cloud moving to their own direction, it will be the same. You can choose. It is the wind that you control the direction the rain will drop to. So you can have rain just falling straight or in an angle, following the rain direction. You can also set up in several ways. If you a lot of ways you have your your rain set into your system. You can have your rain following the character, or following the camera, or following a list of actors. So you have just one particle system is on top of them, to spawn at certain locations. In this case, you have a gizmo that you can set the spots where the rain will be dropping, or following the clouds specifically. So you can have all of them together. That's why we have a list like this one. Say I set this everything, and all the particle systems and materials are made very cheap, but it's still pretty to see. So you can have lots of them that you basically optimize while you were in the view. So it's cheap. You guys see. And before the rain, we also have what we are calling Evolution Orchestrator. Evolution Orchestrator, it seems like looks like the sequencer we have in the engine, and in the engine you can grab an actor, a set of actors, and other elements in your scene, and you can make them move and animate or something. But we felt that if assets like those that have so many parameters, it would be hard to animate too much parameters and for someone looking at the scene and to understand what is happening inside the sequencer, it was just too difficult. It wasn't possible. Being an artist or being a programmer, it is a nightmare, because the blueprint, just the Cloudscape systems, it has too many parameters. So it is all of these and these and these to control, and it's not finished yet. The steps we made to make the Evolution Orchestrator to be possible was first creating the sets, because all that a keyframe, and you see that now you have keyframes here. Keyframes asks for a name, for an optimization set, material set, visual set, sky set, cloud, wind layers, and rain sets if you want to. And the evolution sequencer, you just grab those keyframes and place them in a way you think it is logical. You can give them an hour to start if it is in 24-hour format, and you can set a duration for that if you want to. I could ignore here the time, just set the first one and just giving the duration, because it will interpolate it, because it will use exactly the sequence he's seen here. Why it has to follow the sequence? Because not because it is a sequencer, but imagine that you could want to insert an event here, like a rain that you didn't have before. You can just add that. It will do all it is necessary to interpolate the values. You can specify at 3 hours we have a rain here, so you can insert here a sequence in a keyframe that will tell exactly that you have prepared that. Okay, and it makes easier because you are starting now to deal with saved names you give for stuff, and it's a lot easier to not having to write down in the paper each settings I use it to have that effect. I'd like to do that again, so it makes it easier now. And once you set here in the evolution orchestrator all the data and the source of data, you basically, when you run and the sequencer is enabled, it will just work. You have to start to do the things for you. You don't need even to have sky seasons and Cloudscape seasons animating the sun. You can like dismiss the moon and the sun here to place the sun around. You can set the positions and save those, and you do automatically for you. But you can leave them as well. It's no worries. So just to show you guys, I hope you guys watch this to the end, so you guys can see what is happening. So I'm now playing, and that is a sequence of rain set to happen, and I'm moving the character just right here because I want to show you guys the details. So in 10 more seconds, there is a chance for a drizzle to occur. Right now it could start occur because now it's being rolling a dice and see if it will happen or not. So you see a message that I put a print string just to check when this is happening. Now condition is changing to drizzle. So what's just happened now, it is some droppings start to fall. If I didn't mess anything, let me see, I think I just messed with something. Character to follow. I forgot this. Let's do it again. Let me increase the screen size here a little bit. There you go. At 30 seconds, the change is starting to, because it is keeping none for 30 seconds. That's why it will start only at 30. That is a chance for starting at 30. Nice. And you can program for each rain type an amount of time for the ground to become wet, and once the rain stops, an amount of time for that wet to become dry, to dry out completely. So it just gives some realism to the scene. As we are just within drizzle takes a lot of time to make the ground wet, so it probably will change to a shower before the ground becomes significantly there you go, we got now shower condition. So it is increasing the amount and the shape of the droppings, the rain droppings, because I have said that in the tables. And as you can see, if you look at the pound schedule, there are some droppings that just bounces around when they hit the soil. And as you can see, the ground right now, it's not that rough as it was before, is like starting to see a mud forming, and the grass is also changing the color for a more dark color because it is wet right now. So you have probably to replay the video to see this. Now you can see how the mud is forming. All these textures are free Epic textures. They are just being used in a smart way. So now we come from rain to downpour, so it's a little bit stronger rain. So you guys can see there's a lot more droppings. Also, we use it clear coat to give this wet effect, and we can animate a like the water hitting the soil. So there are some very small as you can see from this angle, there are some animation going on the surface for the amount of rain that we got here. As you can see, there is a cloud at the horizon right now. Let me try to find. Oh, we got moving to flood. So flood is the maximum amount of raindrops you get. So it really increased a lot the amount of water in the terrain. I just want to show that at distance in the horizon, you can see that the grass is wet back there. Since the size for this is 10 meters, 10 by 10 meters, the amount of rain that is falling right now on top of the character. If you run too fast, it might happen that you start to not see all the drops. So this is something that you can adjust. See the grass on top of those small hills, you see that it is wet as well. I'm just trying to find. Oh, I think at this angle you can see a little bit of the water over the ground animation. So you can see the raindrops bouncing around as they fall. There are still some things to tweak, but overall, and if I come like to this spot, let's just see if this cloud just goes away. so I can show. There you go. You see that this rock formation here, I didn't set yet the material. It will be a different material used in the grass and in the ground, because we want that solid things like rocks, you can see water falling in streams instead of like having it accumulating in certain spots and have the droppings animating on the surface. So this is something I'd like to set as well. So different materials, so we can have water streams. And there is something else that I have to remember. Oh, it's okay. The raindrops, they have a cube map texture. It is taken, I think it is programmed, or 30 seconds. You can change this in the rain blueprint. So the cube map is very expensive to take, just for you to know. If you try to get a cube map each frame, your frame rates will go to 30, so it's not a good idea. But taking, depending on your it is your day and night cycles, we are just using the 24 hours cycle right now, so each 30 seconds is more than enough, so you can have the colors really blended well in the rain. Just now this is flood, and in these conditions so light won't happen for this type of, because you can have a flood type of rain when there is no clouds above you. So this is something that we will complete, that is to mask, so the raindrops will not fall where there is no clouds. But this can't be done easily in Cascade. This effect is made with cascades. It is very easily achievable with Niagara, and we hope that in the future we can change this to Niagara instead of cascades. And another thing that I want to show is the work being done in the cartoon, also out 7. So you have a map, actually several maps. Instead of bringing directly to this map with out 7, you have a screen, so you can choose between 3 maps. There will be 3 maps for cartoony and types. So you have this outlines and cell shading. There will be some vegetation here. I just not showing the vegetation because it is part of another pack we will release to the marketplace, so it's better not have it released in a video. So as you can see, we are using occlusion, and you can control these lines, and you can even bring the fog if you want. It will mix well with fog. You can give a reddish color for this fog, so it will work. You can kind of bring some type of effects. And I am not showing the clouds here because again I don't want to spoil. This material and this terrain is basically very similar to the ones using the realistic map. So I just setting other things, so you can use plain colors, like reduce the amount of the normal's influence, and the third person character is also have their materials changed, so it will behave better with cell shading and the outlines. So, and you guys realize that when I was this loading screen system is given for free inside this package. You can reuse it. It's totally made in blueprints, so it can works well. That's it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and hopefully give you a third work in progress sooner, and probably showing the snow and something about evolution orchestrator that is almost finished, and some new cloud shapes. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to rate the asset at the store. Help us a lot, giving visibility to the stuff we have been made, and we are diligently working on this, so we might have this in a couple of weeks done. It seems there is a lot of things to test, because we have this tested in several engine releases, and we also have to test this in DirectX and Vulkan and OpenGL as well. All have to work and behave and have a good performance. That's a lot of things to tweak, and we are doing all of this because we want to prove that we can have this system working with several effects, several types of materials and conditions, and still have much higher than 60 FPS of performance. The new cloud systems have 28% more performance. So, and we are already studying another optimization using blue noise, and I hope you guys will really enjoy what we've been done. Okay, thank you for watching, and bye bye.